Table of Contents. Chapter 1 3. Chapter 2, 8. Chapter 3, 19. Chapter 4, 25. Chapter 5, 35. Chapter 6, 45. Chapter 7, 51. Chapter 8, 58. Chapter 9, 59. Chapter 1. There once was a magnificent pig named Tootie who lived in a society where outward looks frequently obscured inner character. Many people advised against befriending pigs because they thought the wrong company might easily ruin refined manners and integrity. However, Tootie's path would refute these assumptions and demonstrate the transformational power of friendship and compassion. Frankie, a dedicated farm worker, first saw the pig abandoned on a busy highway on that fateful day, which marked the beginning of Tootie's adventure. Frankie's heart swelled with compassion despite the customary cautions, and he knew he could not leave Tootie behind. He immediately asked for assistance from his buddy Tootie, an animal rescuer at Ching Farm in Utah. Frankie yelled, "Tootie, I found a pig on the highway. We need to save him, so we have given him the name Tootie because of all the motorists honking at him." Tootie was accustomed to receiving similar calls as a supporter of animal rights and a cruelty-free lifestyle. She knew that life's road was paved with difficulties, and it was up to kind-hearted people to make a difference. Tootie immediately consented to adopt Tootie as her own. With a smile on his face, Tootie walked over to the horse that was lazily grazing in the adjoining pasture. "How is it the sage of this farm, old-timer?" Tootie asked. Horse, "Well, Tootie, I have seen my fair share of ups and downs, but I have learned that true strength lies in kindness and compassion. Remember, appearances can be deceiving. Look beyond the surface, my friend." Horse, "Remember, appearances can be deceiving. Look beyond the surface." Tootie bowed, heeding the advice of the horse. After being encouraged by their chat, he carried on with his adventures and ran across the strutting ostrich. "Mr. Ostrich, your long legs make you look so fashionable. What is your secret, Tootie? Stand tall and strong, my friend, and never be afraid to let your true colors shine." Ostrich, preening, "Tootie, appearances can be a powerful tool, but true beauty comes from accepting your uniqueness." Tootie grinned in response to the ostrich's remarks. As he continued, he came upon a group of geese around him, waddling and honking in unison. "Hey, guys! What is all the commotion about?" said Tootie. "Goose 1, Tootie, my friend, we are just asserting our presence and expressing ourselves. Do not be shy about speaking up and making your voice heard. Together, we can make a difference." Goose 2, "Yes. Embrace your individuality, Tootie, and celebrate the diversity in this world. We may be a flock, but we each have our own unique story to tell." Inspired by his experiences, Tootie approached the cheeky goat known for his tricks. "What is your key to enjoying life to the fullest, goat? I have heard you are the trickster of the farm." "Tootie, my friend, embrace the humorous side of life but keep in mind to utilize your mischief for good. Life needs to be longer to take everything so seriously. It is all about finding balance and spreading happiness to others." Tootie grinned as he acknowledged that his contacts with these distinctive personalities had given him significant insights. He had learned that a person's outward look did not necessarily reflect their true character and that friendship and understanding can effect positive change. To create a society where compassion and understanding triumph over prejudice and judgment, Tootie said, "Thank you, my newfound friends. You have shown me the beauty in being true to oneself and accepting others for who they are." The animals nodded in agreement, combining their vocalizations into a pleasing whole. Horse, Tootie, remember that each step of your journey can be a chance to instruct and encourage others. Your presence here has already brought about positive change. Knowing that his experiences had accomplished something, Tootie beamingly expressed his thanks. With his newly acquired knowledge and an encouraging group of people by his side, Tootie explored the massive field of animal rescues, telling his tale and raising awareness of the value of kindness, acceptance, and the strength of friendship. So Tootie's adventure continued, always leaving a trail of generosity and motivation in his wake. Chapter 2. Tootie rapidly earned a reputation for being a playful spirit as he adjusted to his new home at Ching Farm. He frequently managed to get out of his pen and go on adventures, interacting with the many animals on the farm. Tootie made unforeseen connections with an old sage horse, a jovial ostrich, a herd of inquiring geese, and even a sneaky goat. For Tootie, every connection resulted in new learnings and experiences. He observed every animal's distinctive traits and habits and understood the value of acceptance and understanding. Tootie unwittingly became a spokesperson for animal rescues, raising awareness of the many needy animals thanks to his playful and curious attitude. Visitors to the farm benefited from Tootie's knowledge and compassion, which she freely gave. She exposed them to the rescued animals while highlighting the value of animal rights and the path to living a life free of cruelty. Tootie's journey from a young New Jersey girl to an ardent vegan was proof of the effectiveness of education and compassion. Readers were kindly invited to learn more about a world of compassion and respect for all living things by reading Tootie's story, which quietly touched upon veganism's core values. The story inspired readers to learn more about animal rescue procedures and make thoughtful decisions aligned with their values. The tale praised the value of compassion, the wonder of diversity, and the significant influence one small pig might have on many people's lives through Tootie's incredible voyage and the connections among the animals living at Ching Farm. Readers were reminded that genuine friendship has no bounds and that even pigs can teach us priceless lessons about love, acceptance, and the ability to change the world. Tootie developed into a symbol of tenacity and hope as he persisted in exploring the farm and developing relationships with the animals. Everyone he came into contact with was made happy and giggled by his fun personality and curious energy. The tales of Tootie's exploits enthralled people from all walks of life as they increased worldwide. Schools, community centers, and online platforms heard about Tootie's remarkable journey. His naughty antics and the profound messages they contained enthralled the public. Tootie and the Ching Farm crew used the occasion to spread the word about veganism, animal rescue, and the value of being kind and compassionate to all living things. At Ching Farm, Tootie started holding informative tours and workshops, enabling visitors to see how creatures like Tootie were saved. She described her conversion to veganism and the benefits it had on her life and the lives of animals. The interaction between visitors and the animals challenged visitors' assumptions and motivated them to make more thoughtful decisions. The impact of Tootie went beyond the confines of the farm. His narrative moved people to assist local rescue groups, volunteer at animal shelters, and make personal changes like going vegan or standing out for animal rights. Tootie became a representation of optimism, demonstrating how even a simple act of kindness can have a far-reaching impact. Inquisitive and sympathetic visitors watched Tootie as she stood in front of them. The loving pig, Tootie, rested comfortably at her side, a sly grin across his nose. "We are so happy to have you all here at Ching Farm today. Let me introduce you to our superstar, Tootie," said Tootie. The crowd cheered and applauded enthusiastically, their joy apparent. "First visitor, Tootie, you are famous. What can we learn from your story? We have heard so much about you and your incredible journey." Before Tootie reacted with a loving smile, Tootie tinkered amusingly as though to acknowledge the attention. Tootie's story teaches us that appearances can be misleading. He disproved the pig stereotypes and demonstrated the value of compassion and understanding. We can learn to see beyond the surface and treat all beings kindly. How did Tootie's journey affect your beliefs and decisions, visitor number 2? Tootie paused to think before looking into Tootie's kind eyes. Tootie opened my eyes to animals suffering in various industries. His spirit and tenacity inspired me to make a change in my own life. I adopted a vegan lifestyle, and Tootie reminds us that we have the power to make a difference, one choice at a time. Third visitor, Tootie, how did you develop such special bonds with creatures of various species? Before Tootie interpreted his message, Tootie laughed and prodded her with his muzzle. Tootie believes that friendship knows no boundaries. He discovered that he could form connections that transcended superficial differences by embracing his authentic self and approaching others with an open heart. His friendships taught us the beauty of diversity and acceptance, says Tootie. Visitors shared their respect for Tootie's fortitude and the difference he had made in their lives as the conversation continued. They committed to sharing his message and using their lessons to improve their local communities. Tootie's narrative has acted as a catalyst for change, igniting discussions about veganism, animal welfare, and the efficacy of compassion. A global movement of empathy and understanding was sparked by Tootie's naughty exploits and the educational programs at Ching Farm. So, laughing and discussion filled the air as the sun fell over the property. Being surrounded by a caring neighborhood, Tootie delighted with the idea that his journey had affected numerous people's lives and would continue to motivate future generations. Years went by as Tootie got older in the company of a kind and appreciative neighborhood. The farm prospered as a haven for abused animals and a center for activism and education. Tootie's influence endured in the minds of people he had impacted and future generations. Tootie's story served as a timely reminder that change may start with a single act of kindness. It was full of adventure, companionship, and the pursuit of a more compassionate world. His journey served as a monument to the profound connections that may be made and the incredible capacity for transformation that can occur when we open our hearts and minds to the well-being of all living things. Since everyone can change the world, the tale of Tootie, the pig who defied preconceptions and inspired a movement of kindness, will always be told. One simple step, one act of kindness, is necessary to cast light on the darkness and pave the way for a more promising and inclusive future for all. When Tootie was getting close to retirement age, a terrible storm struck the area where Ching Farm was situated. The torrential rain and strong winds severely damaged the farm, destroying many animal enclosures. As they examined the damage and learned they would have to move the animals into temporary shelters until the farm could be repaired, Tootie and the team were devastated. During the tumult of the storm, Tootie, who has always been the daring one, escaped from his shattered enclosure. Tootie looked everywhere for the beloved pig but could not find him. She pictured Tootie lost and exposed in the storm's aftermath, and fear seized her heart. Weeks they were passed by while Tootie was still missing. The farm community banded together to find him, organized search teams, and disseminated information widely. People joined the search after hearing about Tootie's incredible journey and Ching Farm's objective via news channels and being moved by it. When all hope appeared lost, a young girl named Lily, who wanted to become an animal rights activist, found Tootie in adjacent woodland. The pig was weak and lost, and he needed help now. After intently following Tootie's narrative, Lily instantly recognized him and ran to his side. When Lily returned with Tootie to Ching Farm, Tootie and the team were ecstatic to see their cherished companion alive and well. The neighborhood rejoiced over Tootie's return as a testament to the tenacity and the unbreakable bond between people and animals. The unexpected element in Tootie's tale was not simply his incredible survival but also the effects it had on the farm and its purpose. Tootie's disappearance and eventual discovery garnered notice, and there was a widespread outpouring of sympathy. Donations poured in, allowing Ching Farm to expand its operations, help many needy animals, and rebuild the destroyed cages. Tootie emerged as a ray of hope for Ching Farm, animal rescue organizations, and veganism. Millions of people were moved by his narrative, which encouraged them to act, make thoughtful decisions, and support groups that promote animal care. Ching Farm developed throughout the years into a well-known center for animal protection and rescue, drawing tourists worldwide. Tootie basked in the affection and attention from the enlarged farm community as he entered his golden years surrounded by new companions. So Tootie's story's twist not only resulted in his incredible survival but also elevated Ching Farm and its objective to new heights. Tootie's legacy became a representation of fortitude, unity, and the enduring power of compassion, constantly serving as a reminder that miracles may still occur amid difficulty and that our relationships with animals can positively impact the world. Years went by, and Tootie's story continued to motivate people everywhere. The farm evolved into a haven for innumerable needy creatures, each with a unique rescue story and tenacity. Tootie has dedicated her life to teaching people about the value of compassionate living and the ethical treatment of animals. She is driven by her love for animal rights and veganism. On a field trip one day, many school children went to Ching Farm. They were excited to get to know the animals and hear their tales. When giving them a tour, Tootie, accompanied by Tootie, explained the background of each resident and the significance of their rescue. Chapter 3. The children's eyes glowed with compassion and understanding as they interacted with the animals. They listened intently as Tootie discussed the adverse environmental effects of animal agriculture and the moral justifications for adopting a vegan lifestyle. With their newfound wisdom and empathy, the kids promised to improve their lives and serve as animal welfare advocates. A young girl named Maya was one of the kids, and she was moved to tears by Tootie's tale. She had a deep affinity for animals and a steadfast resolve to change things. Maya started a personal initiative to increase vegetarianism and animal rescue awareness in her neighborhood. To disseminate the message of compassion, Maya organized fundraising events, led educational workshops, and even launched her social media campaign with the help of her family and friends. As more and more individuals supported the cause, her efforts gathered steam and went far beyond what she had anticipated. An established animal rights organization was drawn to Maya's activism. After being moved by her zeal and commitment, they requested her to speak at their annual conference. Maya took the platform and spoke about Tootie's life and the healing power of compassion. Her comments struck a chord with the crowd and inspired them to fight for a world where kindness prevails. To create a ripple effect of change, Tootie's trip and Ching Farm's efforts continued to impact society. More people are making deliberate decisions to preserve animals and the environment, which has increased awareness of animal rescue organizations and veganism. The significance of empathy, understanding, and the tremendous connection we share with all living things started to become more widely recognized. So Tootie's legacy continued via Ching Farm's refuge and through all the lives that his tale touched and changed. His experience inspired people of all ages to take a stand for animals, adopt a cruelty-free way of life, and fight toward a more humane future. The animals were free to roam as the sun sank over Ching Farm, their spirits boosted by the love and care that was all about them. The pig named Tootie, whose journey began in the back of a butcher truck, blessed the fields with his presence while aware of the significance of his life as a testament to compassion, resiliency, and hope. In appreciation of Tootie's influence, Tootie gathered her staff and the farm community for a special celebration. Gratitude and joy radiated from everyone. Let us hear from some of you about how Tootie's tale has impacted your lives. Tootie, today, we gather to honor Tootie's incredible journey and his inspired beneficial changes. He has shown us the transformational power of compassion and unity. Frankie, who had been present from the start, moved forward while his eyes were overcome with emotion. I used to accept the prejudices about pigs and animals, but Tootie showed me that every being deserves love and care. I have chosen a vegan lifestyle, a path of growth and enlightenment. The talk was joined by a young volunteer named Emily, whose voice was brimming with passion. Emily says that Tootie's tale sparked her love for animal rights activism. Tootie showed me that one small act of kindness can create a ripple effect of change, she says. I have become involved in local animal rescue organizations and use social media to spread awareness. As she listened to the testimonies, Tootie grinned with pride, knowing that Tootie's influence went well beyond the confines of the farm. Let us remember his journey and continue to advocate for a more compassionate world. Together, we can create lasting change, says Tootie. Tootie has become a symbol of resilience, love, and the extraordinary potential within each of us to make a difference. The audience cheered enthusiastically, their hearts bonded by the same goal. At Ching Farm, Tootie enjoyed the affection and adoration showered upon him by his large family. Tootie, a happy oink. So Tootie's legacy continued to exist, not just via the farm but also through all the lives that his tale impacted. The conversations that day served as a reminder of the endurance of compassion and the significance of speaking up for people who cannot speak for themselves. The animals grazed calmly as the sun sank over Ching Farm, aware they were in a place where love and respect were abundant. The magnificent pig Tootie, whose trip had touched people's hearts worldwide, took comfort in the knowledge that his journey had spawned a movement, paving the way for a time when all animals may live without suffering. And as darkness descended, the sparkling stars danced in jubilation, their glistening light illuminating the way toward a future where kindness reigned, motivated by the remarkable story of a pig named Tootie. And as the night sky sparkled, Tootie's soft oink seemed to express a profound but simple truth: by listening to those who cannot speak for themselves, we may build a world where all creatures, great and small, can live in peace and harmony. The tale of Tootie persisted in touching people's hearts near and far as the years went by. The Ching Farm shelter expanded in size and reputation, becoming a well-known refuge for needy animals. Trudy's commitment to veganism and animal rights drew a group of like-minded people who joined her to make the world more humane. Chapter 4. But the danger was hiding in the shadows, unknown to Trudy and her colleagues. Mr. Wellington, a wealthy businessman, learned of the farm's success and saw a chance to take advantage of it for himself. Without Trudy's knowledge, he had covertly purchased the land next to Ching Farm to establish a sizable animal agricultural enterprise. Mr. Wellington saw the refuge as a barrier in his pursuit of fortune because he thought that profit came before compassion. He devised a plan to ruin Trudy and Ching Farm to drive them out of business and make room for his factory farm. Mr. Wellington disseminated untrue stories about the conditions at Ching Farm, including animal cruelty and filthy practices, using his contacts and influence. He even went so far as to offer them money in exchange for coming forward with false information. When news of the accusations made it to the local media, it sparked media frenzy and brought Ching Farm under close examination. Knowing their entire life's work was on the line, Trudy and her crew was devastated. They needed to figure out how to reveal Mr. Wellington's lies and keep the sanctuary safe. Trudy and her crew began a thorough investigation to clear their names. They gathered proof, questioned witnesses, and pieced together the real story behind the lies. They discovered Mr. Wellington's hidden agenda and made the public aware of his evil behavior with the assistance of devoted fans. People in the community were shocked to learn the magnitude of Mr. Wellington's avarice and the lengths he was prepared to go to thwart compassion and justice. Ching Farm saw a groundswell of popular support, including money, petition signatures, and protests. In a dramatic change of events, Trudy and her team addressed Mr. Wellington at a public hearing armed with the truth and the community's steadfast support. They disproved his claims and exposed the repulsive aspect of the animal agribusiness sector he worked for. With an understanding of the cruelty and harm factory farming does to the environment, the public started to turn against Mr. Wellington. As consumers vowed to stop buying his goods and called for reform, his commercial empire fell to pieces. The formerly influential businessman was forced to forego his plans for the industrial farm and flee in shame. Ching Farm triumphed, cleansing their identity and bringing attention to the crimes carried out for financial gain. The refuge developed into a symbol of hope, spurring additional efforts to save animals and provoking people to reflect on their actions and adopt a more humane way of life. The experience taught Trudy and her colleagues how critical it is to maintain alertness when facing difficulty. They redoubled their efforts to save animals and advance veganism, realizing there was still much to do. They redoubled their efforts to protect animals, inform the public, and promote a more compassionate and sustainable world. The journey's inspiration, a pig named Tootie, basked in the affection and protection of the refuge he called home. His light-hearted nature and unshakable fortitude became a testament to the strength of unity in the face of opposition and triumph over hardship. As a result of the unfortunate turn of events that had put the sanctuary's fortitude to the test, it flourished. The animals at Ching Farm lived out their lives in harmony and contentment as Trudy and her team worked to transform hearts and minds, confident that they could face any challenge together and forge a better future for all living things. After Mr. Wellington's threat was removed, Ching Farm rose to prominence as a model of sustainability and compassion. Visitors from all walks of life rushed to the refuge, eager to discover more about veganism, animal rights, and the value of living in harmony with the environment. Tootie jumped at the chance to increase Ching Farm's educational reach. She planned participatory activities such as workshops and lectures that helped people develop a stronger bond with the animals. The inspiring tales of resiliency and transformation touched children and adults, and many of them consciously chose to adopt a vegan diet. As Ching Farm's reputation expanded, Tootie and her group formed alliances with educational institutions, community centers, and groups to advance environmental responsibility and animal care. They created educational initiatives that went well beyond the walls of the sanctuary and reached a wider audience with their message of sustainability and compassion. Tootie unexpectedly received an invitation from a major international conference on animal rights amid their success. Ching Farm was asked to give a keynote speech to share her journey and motivate others to take action because of the significance of her work. With ardent supporters around the world surrounding her, Tootie stood on the impressive platform. She conveyed her experience with firm conviction, emphasizing the value of knowledge, empathy, and making deliberate decisions. Her comments struck a chord with the crowd, causing a transformation in their hearts. Information about Tootie's stirring speech spread like wildfire through social media and other channels, reaching millions of people. The effects were tremendous as people and communities saw the truth about animal rights and the severe consequences of their decisions. After her lecture, Tootie received much encouragement, offers of partnerships, and requests to work with others on various projects. Ching Farm's incredible journey captured the attention of the entire globe, and the need for change was evident. A global campaign called Compassion Unleashed was started by Tootie and her team in response to the tremendous support to increase awareness, challenge social norms, and motivate people to take meaningful action for animals and the environment. Compassion Unleashed won the hearts and minds of people worldwide through several documentaries, social media campaigns, and grassroots efforts. It became a potent force for transformation, inspiring people, organizations, and institutions to review their methods and embrace a more compassionate future. Ching Farm's influence grew throughout time, spanning national and cultural boundaries. The refuge developed into a center for innovation and teamwork, drawing specialists in animal welfare, sustainable farming, and environmental preservation. Ching Farm was a role model for other animal shelters and rescue organizations, encouraging them to implement sustainable procedures, offer educational initiatives, and promote change. As more sanctuaries and individuals joined forces to build a world where all beings might live without suffering, the ripple effect of compassion expanded far and wide. The pig that started it all, Tootie, spent his final years at Ching Farm happily. His journey from the back of a slaughter truck to becoming an advocate for change exemplified the perseverance and transforming power of love and compassion. Around the table, Tootie and her group were chatting animatedly about the next Compassion Unleashed campaign. Tootie, let us develop ideas for our movies and social media campaigns. This campaign can influence millions of people and bring about long-lasting change. Emma, a committed campaigner, enthusiastically added her thoughts. Emma, let us make videos showcasing the incredible transformations we have seen here at Ching Farm. Let's focus on sharing personal stories of animals and the impact of our choices on their lives. The local director of photography, James, nodded in accord. Yes, James. We must spread the message that every being deserves love, respect, and the chance to live a happy life. We can do this by highlighting the experiences of animals like Tootie and the incredible resiliency they have displayed. Tootie grinned, encouraged by the group's commitment and innovation. Let us not discount the influence of social media. By encouraging individuals to share their own experiences with kindness and veganism using hashtags like #CompassionUnleashed and #ChooseKindness, we can foster community and encourage others to join the movement. The enthusiasm in the room increased as the team proceeded to strategize and plan. They understood that their campaign's success could affect policies, communities, and even people in natural ways. Chapter 5. Alex, a fresh intern, put up their hand, ready to participate. According to Alex, holding community activities and workshops where attendees may visit the sanctuary would strengthen their bonds with it and inspire them to take action. Tootie nodded admiringly as she considered Alex's advice. Tootie, Alex, that is a great idea. Let us set up workshops, cooking demonstrations, and interactive sessions where people can learn about the effects of their dietary decisions and how they can change the world. Ideas were freely exchanged, each team member contributed their unique experience and perspective, and the room was exciting. I am so grateful to have all of you here, working toward a common goal. Together, we can truly unleash compassion and create a world where animals are respected, and the environment flourishes, said Tootie. The group applauded as a unit, their enthusiasm and willpower uniting them. They knew that their combined efforts might greatly influence and improve many lives. Therefore, Tootie and her team set out to unleash compassion, armed with their ideas and the steadfast support of their neighborhood, knowing that Tootie's memory and the refuge he called home would continue to inspire and transform lives worldwide. Thus, the narrative of Ching Farm and its committed staff is a tribute to the resilience of the human spirit, the healing potential of compassion, and the steadfast conviction that each person can change the world. Together, they had transformed a chance event into a worldwide movement of love and generosity that had a lasting impact on the lives of humans and animals. As Ching Farm's reputation spread worldwide, Tootie and her group confronted more difficulties and took on more significant projects. They understood the necessity of challenging social conventions that supported animal cruelty and engaging in deeply rooted cultural practices. The fur industry was one particular difficulty they ran into. Tootie personally observed the atrocities that animals went through for the sake of fashion. She began a risky covert investigation into fur farms to document the horrific conditions and suffering of the animals used in the fur trade. The revelations shocked the world, sparking indignation and leading to several calls for change. Tootie's team worked with celebrities, fashion designers, and worldwide animal rights organizations to spread awareness and push for a future without fur. Strong industrial lobbyists and established commercial interests opposed their initiatives. As she and her crew were being threatened and tried to be silenced, Tootie found herself at the forefront of a heated conflict. But their unyielding dedication to justice and compassion fueled their resolve to come clean. The fur industry began to fall apart due to persistent activism, neighborhood campaigns, and public pressure. Major fashion houses and merchants decided to stop carrying fur, laws banning fur farming were passed in several nations, and public opinion turned away from accepting fur as a sign of cruelty. With this triumph under her belt, Tootie turned her attention to another hot-button topic, animal testing. She recognized the value of scientific advancement but felt it should not come at the expense of unborn children. Tootie put forth a lot of effort to promote different testing techniques and interact with the scientific community to spread awareness of the moral ramifications of using animals in research. Her work triggered a debate about the need for more compassionate and reliable testing procedures worldwide. Tootie led activities to encourage alternative testing methods and gradually phase out animal testing by working with scientists, decision-makers, and advocacy organizations. There were obstacles along the way. Tootie had to deal with skepticism, opposition from powerful interests, and the intimidating task of changing deeply ingrained practices. She continued anyway, supported by a burgeoning international movement and armed with solid scientific and moral arguments. Progress was made gradually. Governments developed stricter laws prohibiting animal testing, alternatives received more financing, and public awareness grew. The paradigm started to alter as more scientists, business titans, and consumers became aware of the moral requirement to prioritize animals in scientific developments. Tootie's dedication to campaigning and education went beyond animal welfare. She understood how all living things are interconnected and how vital it is to address environmental sustainability. She started initiatives to spread the word about how animal husbandry has a terrible impact on climate change, deforestation, and water scarcity. Tootie motivated people, communities, and legislators to take action to lessen the environmental catastrophe by advocating plant-based diets and sustainable farming methods. She collaborated with chefs, farmers, and food producers to develop delectable, affordable alternatives to animal products, establishing plant-based eating as a standard option. Ching Farm and Tootie pushed the limits of what was possible and challenged conventional knowledge via their relentless efforts, becoming symbols of change. They demonstrated that even the most ingrained systems of exploitation could be overthrown with perseverance, compassion, and a profound understanding of the interconnection of all life. As the years went by, Tootie's efforts persisted in motivating and empowering countless people to make thoughtful decisions aligned with compassion and sustainability. Ching Farm developed into a hub for creativity, where fresh concepts were fostered, and teamwork flourished. Tootie's advocacy and Ching Farm left a lasting legacy far beyond their lives. Their tale was the impetus for a worldwide movement that altered how society views animals, disproved stale beliefs, and opened the path for a more compassionate and sustainable future for all. Years after Ching Farm's revolutionary impact and Tootie's groundbreaking efforts, a startling revelation shattered the very heart of the animal rights movement. A prominent organization member was found secretly participating in unethical behavior behind closed doors. This news shocked the community, which hurt Tootie and her crew and made them doubt their loyalty to their supporters. The media widely covered the controversy, harming Ching Farm's reputation and casting suspicion among supporters and proponents. Tootie had to make a crucial choice amidst the confusion. She could let the scandal define her and the company, or she could take the chance to highlight the tenacity of their values and dedication to openness. Tootie launched a thorough inquiry with an unshakable commitment to ensure complete responsibility and prompt action. She expressed her amazement and dismay in front of the public and professed her sincere regret while restating Ching Farm's fundamental principles of justice, compassion, and integrity. Tootie put strict protections, improved transparency policies, and sought outside scrutiny to prevent another such betrayal. She reached out to others impacted, providing support and striving to mend the wounds brought on by a select few. Despite hardship, Tootie symbolized tenacity and fortitude for the animal rights cause. She saw the experience as a chance for personal development, learning, and regeneration, understanding that real advancement necessitates ongoing watchfulness and a dedication to being accountable to oneself. Due to Tootie's response to the incident, Ching Farm's supporters saw a revitalized sense of purpose and passion. They gathered around her, reinforcing their commitment to moral behavior and their conviction in the core principles of animal rights. The unexpected turn marked a turning point for the entire movement and Ching Farm. It made clear how crucial it is to pursue justice and compassion while remaining vigilant, being open, and holding oneself and others accountable. To restore confidence and restore the organization's reputation, Tootie and her colleagues put forth endless effort. They increased their outreach initiatives, interacting with local governments, schools, and communities to inform and motivate change. They highlighted the value of moral behavior, ecological living, and the interdependence of all life through workshops, seminars, and collaborations. Ching Farm eventually won back the respect and support of its fans, and its influence on animal rights grew. The fact that Tootie handled the situation with integrity and fortitude became evidence of her unwavering dedication to the cause. Tootie convened a meeting with her staff because she knew they had to discuss the latest issue and determine how to move forward. We must address the matter head-on, accept responsibility, and show our dedication to transparency and justice. Tootie, I appreciate that the recent discoveries have shaken us all. Longtime team member Sarah spoke out, her voice was full of resolve. Chapter 6. We must not let the actions of a little damage Ching Farm's reputation. Let us demonstrate to the world that we are devoted to keeping our beliefs and making restitution. Sarah, Tootie, I believe in the underlying values of Ching Farm and our work. Tootie nodded, grateful for Sarah's assistance. Sarah, you are right, Tootie. We need to restore trust. Let our deeds speak louder than words. We will launch an external investigation, ensure accountability, and implement additional safeguards to avoid such betrayals in the future. James, the team's videographer, shared his viewpoint. We can produce a video message describing our efforts to rectify the matter and clarify what has happened, along with our sincere apologies, to our supporters and the general public. Tootie concurred, understanding the value of openness and communication. James. Let us acknowledge the hurt and sorrow this betrayal has caused, and let us show that we are actively trying to right the wrong and restore the trust that has been lost. The group continued to discuss methods to aggressively confront the crisis and reassert their dedication to moral behavior and openness. Emma, who has a knack for making friends, suggested starting a community outreach program. It will enable us to address their concerns, apologize in person, and highlight our commitment to justice and accountability. Emma, let us set up town hall meetings and open forums where people can ask us questions directly. Tootie nodded, struck by the group's tenacity and resolve. We have been put to the test by this crisis, but it has also provided us with an opportunity for growth and learning. As a result, we will emerge from it more robust, more unified, and even more dedicated to our cause, said Tootie. Tootie and her team set out to rebuild trust, fortify their organization, and continue working as advocates for animal rights and compassion with a clear goal. Ching Farm not only won back the faith of its supporters over the ensuing years but also rose to prominence as a model of tenacity and transparency within the animal rights movement. The team's dedication to open communication and Tootie's steadfast commitment made it possible for them to move forward, learn from the past, and carry on improving animal welfare. The unexpected turn sparked change by serving as a reminder to all parties concerned of the value of alertness, openness, and personal accountability. The movement's devotion to justice, compassion, and the steadfast conviction that every being deserves respect and protection strengthened as a result of it, and it served as a turning point. The unexpected turn served as a reminder that no movement is exempt from the decisions of specific individuals. Still, actual growth comes in the capacity to face and overcome those difficulties. Thanks to Tootie's leadership and the community's combined efforts, the animal rights movement has become more tenacious, resilient, and robust than ever. Ching Farm persisted in being a force for good as time passed, spreading its message of kindness, moral behavior, and sustainability to every corner of the world. Through Tootie's journey and the organization's enduring legacy, justice for all living things has been relentlessly pursued with tenacity, honesty, and power. Ching Farm set out on an even more ambitious quest to bring about systemic change in how animals are treated with the help of the community's restored confidence and support. Individual rescues and sanctuaries could only do so much, Tootie and her colleagues realized, and real change necessitated a change in social attitudes and behaviors. To spread the word about the condition of animals and push for legislative changes, they collaborated with powerful groups, spoke with decision-makers, and developed effective campaigns. Tootie rose to prominence in the movement due to her passionate speeches, appearances on television, and essays that challenged the current quo. As more people adopted the ideas of veganism and cruelty-free living, their efforts started to pay off. An upsurge in the demand for plant-based substitutes sparked a revolution in the food business. Large corporations began offering vegetarian options, and plant-based goods became more widely available and accepted. Additionally, Ching Farm started educational initiatives that addressed schools and communities and educated kids about compassion, animal rights, and ecological living. They planned participatory events, farm excursions, and workshops to promote empathy and understanding. As the campaign progressed, Tootie's impact spread outside animal rights. After seeing the link between animal welfare and the ecosystem's health, she started advocating for environmental sustainability. People from many walks of life were moved by her speech, which encouraged them to make moral decisions that benefited both animals and the environment. Tootie and Ching Farm created a more compassionate world through tenacity and unwavering dedication. As more nations passed animal protection laws, more people adopted veganism, and more businesses adopted ethical practices. They celebrated triumphs, great and small. But Tootie was aware that there was still much to be done. She persisted in testing the limits, questioning conventions, and looking for fresh approaches to complex issues. She knew that permanent change required constant work and group effort from people dedicated to a brighter future. Chapter 7. Ching Farm's legacy was imprinted on the hearts of innumerable animals saved and lives affected as the years went by, and it eventually came to represent hope and transformation. Tootie had changed her own life and the lives of those she had influenced because of her unrelenting commitment to the cause of animal rights. And so the voyage continued, with Tootie and Ching Farm leading the way to a future where everyone was treated with respect and care, regardless of their species. Their perseverance served as a light of hope for a more peaceful and compassionate future, and their narrative served as a testament to the ability of one person to effect significant change. As the years passed, Tootie and Ching Farm encountered a brand new difficulty. The site where Ching Farm was situated was targeted by a multinational corporation notorious for its inhumane treatment of animals and disdain for the environment. The company saw a chance to grow its business, and the animal refuge was seen as a barrier. They waged a court struggle using their enormous means to drive Ching Farm out of their cherished residence. The news saddened Tootie and her group. They had devoted themselves to establishing a sanctuary for animals, but now they faced the possibility of losing everything they had toiled so arduously to establish. Tootie, though, was different from the type to give in quickly. She organized her neighborhood and started a grassroots opposition to the corporation's takeover. Individuals from various walks of life came together to support Ching Farm, including activists, celebrities, and locals. They coordinated demonstrations, drafted petitions, and used social media to disseminate information. The campaign attracted widespread notice and exposed the company's unethical behavior and disdain for animal welfare. Tootie's passionate speeches and interviews inspired the public, and money flooded in to fund Ching Farm's legal defense. The case evolved into a struggle for refuge and the more general cause of animal rights and ethical treatment. The drama in the courtroom continued, with heated exchanges and complex legal strategies. The corporation's attorneys attempted every trick in the book to discredit Ching Farm, but Tootie and her legal team retaliated with determination and a firm commitment to their position. The day of the decision eventually came. The courtroom became tense as the judge got ready to make the ruling. Tootie forced herself to hold her breath as her heart raced with anticipation. To everyone's shock, the judge chose Ching Farm as the winner. The corporation's attempt to acquire control of the sanctuary was unsuccessful, and Tootie continued to look after the property. The win was a triumph for the animal rights movement, not just Ching Farm. It powerfully conveyed to businesses and industries that animal abuse and environmental harm would not be permitted. After their victory, Tootie and Ching Farm were more determined than ever to complete their task. By collaborating with like-minded organizations worldwide and building other sanctuaries and educational facilities, they increased the scope of their operations. To celebrate the tough win and talk about Ching Farm's future, Tootie assembled her crew. "I could not be more proud of what we have achieved together," said Tootie. "This victory is a testament to our unwavering commitment and the incredible support we received from our community, but our work is far from over. We must use this momentum to drive even greater change." Key legal team member Sarah added her perspective with a sense of relaxation and happiness. "This victory sends a strong message that businesses cannot walk on the rights of animals or the labor of groups like ours. We have established a precedent," says Sarah. James gave his perspective on the importance of triumph since he is forever the optimist. According to James, "Our success will motivate other activists and organizations to keep up the battle for justice. Not only have we safeguarded Ching Farm, but we have also demonstrated to the world that standing up for what is right can make a difference." Tootie nodded, thankful for the perseverance and commitment of her crew. Tootie, let us use this opportunity to continue growing our reach, educating more people, and pushing for legislative changes that protect animal rights. This victory is not just for us but all the animals that depend on us to be their voice. Emma, renowned for her strategic thinking, suggested a plan to capitalize on their recent victory. Emma, our victory will serve as a powerful example of what can be accomplished when people come together, and we should start a national campaign to raise awareness about the rights of animals and the significance of ethical treatment. Recognizing the potential significance of such a campaign, Tootie concurred. Tootie, Emma, that is a great idea. Let us work on a comprehensive plan that involves public events, media outreach, and partnerships with other organizations. Together, we can create a movement that demands change. Tootie and her team set out to organize their supporters and disseminate their message with a clear plan and a fresh feeling of purpose. To promote stricter animal protection regulations, they planned protests, spoke with the media, and met with legislators. Chapter 8. As the campaign gathered traction, more people joined the cause and became aware of the pervasive problems with animal rights. Ching Farm served as a ray of inspiration and hope for the movement as it grew. Tootie's vision and the team's commitment moved people from various walks of life, which motivated them to act and improve their communities. The win over the company served as a call to action for change, energizing individuals to strive for a more compassionate and moral world. The conversations and partnerships that resulted from the campaign brought activists, organizations, and legislators together. Together, they advocated for legislative changes and increased public understanding of the connections between social justice, environmental sustainability, and animal rights. The influence of Tootie and Ching Farm on the animal rights movement grew over time. They increased the number of their refuges, educational projects, and advocacy programs, leaving a long-lasting legacy of kindness and justice. Their unwavering efforts and the community's backing paved the path for a civilization that respects animals' rights and understands the value of coexisting peacefully with all living things and the environment. Chapter 9. In addition to defending Ching Farm, their legal battle with the corporation highlighted the need for more laws and regulations to protect the environment and animals. It sparked a surge of activity and a more comprehensive discussion about corporate accountability. Tootie gained admiration from people worldwide as a symbol of tenacity and resistance. Others were motivated to stand up for what they believed in and fight for justice by her persistent determination and capacity to overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Tootie addressed the crowd of fans while standing up, speaking with enthusiasm and resolve. "Thank you for supporting us in this struggle, Tootie. Together, we have demonstrated that compassion and justice can triumph. Our victory today is not just for Ching Farm, but for every animal suffering due to corporate cruelty," she said. The crowd cheered and chanted in approval as it applauded loudly. His fan exclaimed, "Tootie, you inspire us all. Your unwavering dedication has brought about real change." Tootie grinned, moved by the words of support. "We must continue to fight for tougher legislation, better animal protections, and a more compassionate and sustainable world." Tootie, thank you, but remember, this victory is not the end. Our work has just begun. Another admirer commented, "You are right, Tootie, we cannot let our guard down, we must be vigilant and fight exploitation and cruelty." With her eyes gleaming with resolve, Tootie nodded. "Let today be a turning point in treating animals and the environment. Let us be the voice for those who are unable to speak for themselves," said Tootie. A feeling of cohesion and purpose spread throughout the crowd as Tootie's comments reverberated. The fans formed a circle of unity by joining hands. One of his supporters remarked, "Tootie, we are with you every step of the way. We will continue to support Ching Farm and fight for a world where animals are treated with kindness and respect." Thank you to everyone, let us carry this momentum forward and build a better future for all beings. Tootie, our win today is a monument to the force of togetherness and the strength of our collective voices. The cheering returned. This time, it was a symphony of determination and optimism. Together, they vowed to continue their campaign, spread awareness, and work toward a society where kindness and justice were the norm. Tootie and her supporters departed the courthouse as the sun sank on that historic day, prepared to continue their mission to build a society where animals are valued, the environment is protected, and every living thing may thrive. Following the corporation's defeat, Ching Farm grew, offering a home for many animals and evolving into a role model for moral and environmental operations. One step closer to Tootie's vision of a future where all beings might exist without suffering or exploitation. The tale of Tootie and Ching Farm thus demonstrated the strength of perseverance, community, and the everlasting belief in the intrinsic value of every living thing, in addition to being a story of rescue and advocacy.